Oops, let me fix this. I don't know why we always go through this every single time. Let me just fix this so we're straight. Give me a second here. And let me just make sure everything looks good. I have my laptop right next to me so I can see what's going on. Okay, so everything looks pretty good. Put this down maybe just a little bit. Let's see how we look. We want to make sure everything's straight, right? And we want some good lighting so you can see everything. Okay, so hello everybody, this is Carla and welcome back to the studio and welcome to my Friday night kinda live. So typically on Friday evenings I go live at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I create 3 projects using a current product line that you can still get at the time of me filming this. Now usually I do, like I said, I do it live. I have some wonderful ladies that are in the chat with me. We have a good interaction. I also do like a giveaway. I'll do a wheel of names for the projects that I did that night, and then whoever I choose I send the cards out to. Um, so for this one, this is what I call a kinda live. So it's my live, but it's pre-recorded. Now, I don't do it as a premiere because I can never guarantee if whether or not I'd be able to join in the chat box when it airs. So this is posting on Friday, March 21st of 2025. I am featuring the Wildly Flowering suite of products. Well, kind of, sort of the suite of products. Let me show it to you here in the catalog. So this is the suite. So this is a suite that I only have a partial amount of what's in the suite. So the suite is the stamp set along with the coordinating dies. So let me show that to you. So it is a cling red rubber stamp set. So you got some floral images, and then you have 3 script greetings on this. And then there are coordinating dies. Now, typically I would print out the picture of the dies so I know what's in it. However, this is not my bundle, so I am borrowing it from my dear friend Yvonne, who is also, as you know, my assistant. And so she had this well, she kind of had the suite. uh I guess part of it, it's hard saying, guys, but this was a bundle that I did not have. However, I did get the Dashing Designs 3D embossing folder, and I've used this quite a few times on other projects. And then there is the adhesive backed texture dots. So these are really, really cute. I remember when when this catalog first came out, and these at first sold out pretty quickly, and it took a little bit to get them back in, but of course they came back in. So these are really, really pretty embellishments. And then there is this 12 by 12 designer series paper. So the paper has all of the colors in it that's are current in colors that are soon to retire when the new catalog comes out. So there's Moody Mauve, there is Wild Wheat, there is, well, this, I don't think it has it in there, but there's Boho Blue, there's Copper, Clay, and Pebbled Path. But some of the colors aren't in here, but most of them are. So in this paper, you have Wild Wheat, Mossy Meadow, Misty Moonlight, Moody Mauve, Early Espresso, and Crumb Cake in here. So it's really pretty paper. Um, However, So she had let me borrow her bundle because I figured, I asked her if she had the paper. She did. She had the bundle. I had these pieces here. However, she got a little confused with the paper. Um, we have a lot of product that has names on it that's kind of close. So instead of bringing the wildly flowering designer series paper, she brought the wildflower birthday paper, and I should have realized when there was a really bright color in it. So with that being said, the projects that I am making for you in this video, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to include the designer series paper because I just don't have it. And of course, I had to get this video filmed and scheduled and all that wonderful stuff before I left on my trip. So there is a designer series paper that's also with this suite. I just don't have it, and but I'm going to do a workaround, and I'm going to create the projects without it. Now, the projects that I'm going to do, they're going to be a case out of projects that are in this catalog. So in some of these, there's designer series paper. Like I said, I don't have the designer series paper. So I just modified it a little bit and changed it up with what I do have. So this is what we're going to be working with in this video. Also, so this is our current catalog. This catalog will be, when will this be retiring? On May 1st. No, wait, no, hold on. No, April 30th of this year. And then there's a new catalog that will come out. I'll just mention about with the catalogs. There's a new one that's coming out, and if you would like to receive a paper copy of this catalog, if you're not working with another demonstrator and you're here in the US, in the description is my email address. Just simply send me an email and let me know which catalog you would like, if it's just the annual catalog. Or we also have the January to April mini catalog as well. There's a scrapbooking brochure, however, that's digital, and you can see that in the online store. I will, let's see, what do I want to mention? Now with the catalogs, because there is a cost for the catalogs and of course of mailing them, if you reach out to me before the end of March 31st, so this is the 21st that this is posting, we can work together if you haven't already done so, creating a customer profile um, on the website, and that way I can have Stampin' Up mail you the catalog from them. It's a little bit cheaper than opposed to me mailing it out. So I can walk you through on setting that up if you like, or if it's after the 31st of March, I'm more than happy to mail one out to you as well. So I just want to make mention to that. Now, again, if only for those that are here in the US, and if you're not working with another demonstrator, again, because there's a cost to the catalogs and plus the postage to mail them, it just makes sense if you're getting those catalogs from a demonstrator that you're currently already ordering from. So, other than that, I'm not going to go really into uh, the housekeeping stuff that I normally do when I'm live. Uh, the last time that I was live was last Friday, and I had mentioned about some of the things that were going on. Next Friday will be another kind of live. I will still be out of town, so that one I may bring up more info. I just figured that since I am not technically live, that I would just go right into the project. So we're about 10 minutes into this video. So let's get started with our projects. Now, I will mention that in the description of the video, if you look just above the list of all the supplies for the cards that we are making, there is a link that will take you to my Google Drive. On my Google Drive, I make PDFs of the Friday Night Live. So let me show you what they look like really quick. So I have a binder here that's got all of them in there. And so this, when I first started, this was like back on January 26th of 2024. I was looking to offer free card kits of the projects that I made for those who had placed a order in my online store. Since I really wasn't getting any orders at all, you know, I still put in the work to create these PDFs, so I decided to make them available to everybody. So in there, there's the name of the bundle or the suite or whatever it may be that I used. And then I also have this little link right here that'll say like YouTube Live. It actually had changed to like Friday Night Live, Friday Night Kinda Live. I have all of these in there. So there is, so when you click on this link right here, it's going to take you to the YouTube video in which I had used these products. Now in here, I'll go back, yeah, to here because this was the one live that I did. So this was the Meant to Be suite that is in the scrapbooking brochure. And let me show you really quick what they look like. Okay, if I can get it out. Well, it's got a picture of each of the projects. There is a whole list of all the supplies that I used. There's also, let me move this over, I'm out of the camera view. There is a picture of what the card looks like. And then there are dimensions, so the color of the cardstocks and the designer series paper, there's dimensions. If there were scraps in which I stamped on them, I'm letting you know what colors of ink that I used. So this is something that you can use along with watching the video if it's projects that you would like to complete. So if it's you know, if it's product that you have, then you know this will give you a little bit of inspiration. And again, there is in the description, right just above the supplies, there's a link that will take you to my Google Drive, and you will find all those Friday night and Friday night kind of lives PDFs in there. So there will be one for tonight with the wildly flowering suite of products. And so that's already going to be out there actually before I end up leaving on my trip. So you'll find that there. Typically, I may not get it out there until, say, probably the next day or 2 days after I've gone live. But this time I'll have this video done, so I'll have the video link and everything to embed into that. So, so if you're interested, just click on the link and see if there's anything out there that interests you. Okay, so let me do this since I don't have my little cheat sheet here printed out to where I can follow it. Let me bring up um, the document that I create that has all the dimensions and everything on it. This is the stuff that I copy and paste into the description of the video. So let me bring this one up so that way I have my dimensions for you. Okay, so for the first card, this is a very simple card. This card is actually one that is in the catalog. I changed it up. I think, well, no, well, when you stamp it, you know, it's never going to be identical to what's in the catalog. So this is basically my take on it. So this one's very, very simple, fairly quick to put together. Of course, I got to pull out the stamps. So my card base, this is Mossy Meadow. It measures 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it at 4.25. I have a piece of basic white. This measures 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. And then I have a piece of Misty Moonlight. This measures 3.5 by 1. And ahead of time, I took that greeting that says sending happy thoughts. I stamped this with some Versamark ink, and then I heat embossed it ahead of time just to save some time in the white embossing powder. So I'm going to take my card base, I'll fold and burnish this. So this week before I leave for my trip, I've basically have crunched in like 5 videos, 4 of them being pre-recorded, and of course then there's the one for my Friday night live. So it's been a very, very busy week. Well, you're seeing this like a week later, so it's been a very busy week on getting all of this stuff done before I leave. All right, so back to the card. So I am going to stamp some of these images. So there's this larger one here, this one here, and then these. So it's these 4 stamps that I'm going to pull out of here. So we want this large one, I want that one, and that one. All right, let me get a piece of scrap paper. That'll work. And then let's get these on some blocks. That one. And then this one right here. Okay, so the color of ink that I am going to use for this, let's get, so we have Mossy Meadow now. I'm using my little Mossy Meadow ink spot rather than my full-size ink pad. I don't know if you've had this issue or not, but I have, since this color's been out, I have, I think, now purchased like three Mossy Meadow ink pads. For some reason, what happens after some time, I don't know if it's the ink in combination with the foam pad, but I can have that ink pad really, really inky. But there'd be times that when I would go to stamp with it, you know, it would stamp as if the ink pad was dry. So some spots would be a little bit darker than others. And then the other thing too that I've noticed is that the indentation of the stamp itself you can actually see it in the foam pad. So I don't know if it's like that chemical makeup of the ink with that foam pad. I've just struggled getting some really nice stamped images with the regular sized ink pad. So I have this little ink spot. These come in the monthly paper pumpkin kits. Also, those kits in our kits collection that have the stamping in it, they also have the stamping spots in them as well. And then there is, I think, a 10 pack that is available too, that's in the annual catalog. So I'm just going to use my little ink spot in my Mossy Meadow because I do get a good stamped image with that. Now this is foam. This isn't foam, it's felt. So I think that it has something to do with the foam pad. So I'm going to use that. Also, I got Wild Wheat. And then I also have Misty Moonlight and Crumb Cake. And that one's for another project. All right, so I am going to take my Wild Wheat And I'm going to grab this bigger bloom here. And I'm going to ink this up. And I'm going to stamp it once down here. So this is kind of random. It's not, you know, I'm not trying to be perfect in lining anything up. And then we're going to stamp this one right over here. Okay. And then I'm going to get my Misty Moonlight. And then I want this one that looks like baby's breath. And I'm going to stamp this one right over here. And then this one right here. Okay. Trying to figure out where to put these stamps so I don't get ink all over me. All right. And then there's this one little flower here with the greenery. I'm going to do that in my Mossy Meadow. So let's ink this up. Okay. And this one, let's see, come up here. And then ink it up one more time. And then I'll stamp this one right over here. Okay, then let's close this up. All right, and then my crumb cake, this little decorative image right here just has these little slash marks on them. I'm going to ink this up and I'm going to randomly stamp this on here, but I'm going to stamp this off first just to lighten it up some, and then I'm going to rotate the stamp as well. Just want to get a couple of these on here. Let's see, put one right there, and then we'll stamp one more down the bottom here, like so. Okay, so that is all the stamping that's on our card layer right here. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back. So this definitely is the more simpler card. Not that any of these cards are hard or difficult, but this one is the quickest one out of all of them. So let me add a few more. And we don't want it all saggy. And let me grab, I got another sheet in here. Grab that. Now, there's nothing wrong with these edge pieces. I will use those. So nothing's going to go to waste here with the dimensionals. I'll take the paper backings off of this. Now, even though I'm not using the designer series paper, I am using the same colors that are in that paper. So we're going to take this, we're going to center this. So you'll see that there's more space around it on the left and the right side. And then there's up at the top and the bottom, there's a little bit less. All right, so then on my greeting piece, I'm going to grab some more dimensionals. We'll add 3 on here. So I'm going to come in just a little bit on the ends, put one in the middle, take those off, and then we'll take this and we'll add it right across the middle right here. Like so. Let's see, make sure that's straight. Okay. And then these adhesive back texture dots, we'll bring those in. And let me get my take your pick tool. And we're gonna, typically when I got two different sized embellishments on here, I usually use like one large one and then two of the smaller ones. Let's see, and one more. We'll put this one right up here. So this card, very, as you can see, it went together really, really quickly, but it's just a really nice and cute, simple card. So there is our first one. Let me put that aside. Let me bring in my Stampin' Scrub and let me clean my stamps. Now I apologize in advance if the camera is shaking. My camera stand is clipped onto this very same table that I'm working on. I have to figure out a way to hook it onto something else and still be able to use it over this table. I haven't found a way yet, so all right, so we got those cleaned up. Let me put these aside. And then let me get the stuff for our second card. So if you love the blue, then you're going to love this card. Now, let me bring in the catalog really quick, and I want to show you what this card actually looked like. So where's my catalog? So again, I cased the cards that are in the catalog. So this catalog, it's not just a catalog for, ordering, seeing product and ordering product, but it's also an idea book. So you get all these different ideas on what to do with the product. So again, like I said, I don't have the designer series paper. So here is the first card that I made right there. So now the second one that I'm going to do is going to be a take off of this one. Now, when you look at this one, it looks like that it's a note card size, but we're going to make a full size card. And then, like I mentioned, the designer series paper that is that layer in the center, I don't have that. So I kind of changed it up and did something a little bit different. And then the same thing with this one right here. This is going to be our last card that we make. But again, those pieces in the background, it's the designer series paper. So I'm going to change that up a little bit as well. All right, so my card base, this is Misty Moonlight. It measures 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it at 4.25. I have another piece of Misty Moonlight. I had used the Dashing Designs 3D embossing folder ahead of time, and I embossed that. So it's a really nice subtle type of texture on there. This measures 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So there's just gonna you're just gonna see a little tiny border of the card base behind it. Then add some scraps. I had already done my die cutting ahead of time, so this particular die, and all these dies, I will say, except for one of them, is all part of this bundle. So for this one, I die cut it out of wild wheat. And this piece here actually comes from the center of this piece, but of course it's not the same color. So I die cut it again, and I'm using the white center. So that's basic white. Also at a basic white, I had stamped this image the same color, wild wheat, as I did in the first card, and I die cut that ahead of time. And then there's another die in there that will give you like this little bit of stitching in it. It's a little bit smaller than that, and that is Misty Moonlight. And then with Early Espresso, I used, let's see, where did I put it? So I used the Stylish Shapes set of dies. I used this really like kind of like this small, wider banner piece right here. So I had stamped it with the Versamark ink, and I heat embossed it with the white embossing folder. Now, a little tip that I will mention, when embossing, it seems like this happens to me quite a bit. If you look at the end, it looks like it's a little bit faded like. I don't know if I can bring that up without it getting all blurry. What happens with that? The powder gets on there, but I just had a little too much heat on that. And I found that if I put too much heat on my embossing, that's kind of like what happens with the white. But I mean, you can still see that that's an N in that greeting. So again, I stamped that with the Versamark, heat embossed it with the white embossing powder, and then I die cut it using that Stylish Shapes die. All right, so let's take our card base, let's fold and burnish this. So again, the sample that's in the card, it looks like they made it a note card side, so they size. So they used one of our white note cards, and then the piece that they had embossed, they just cut it down to the same exact size as that card. But I decided, okay, we're not doing this on a note card, we're doing a full-size card. So I'm going to get my glue out. This is our Tombow multi-purpose glue that we sell in our catalog. I put it in a fine tip glue bottle. There's a latex that's in this glue, so you really don't need a lot. It will stick very well. So let's add some glue on here. And again, when I put this down, there's just going to be that very, very small border of the card base that you'll see around it. Okay. And we'll place this right here in the middle. And if it's off just a little bit, I mean, it's the same color, so it's not really noticeable. But we did a pretty good job on cutting this, so we'll place that down. Okay, and then what I want to do with this piece, I want these two pieces together. So now instead of just taking a dimensional and putting it in each corner, I'm going to bring in my Scotch tape, and I'm going to kind of reinforce these two, put these two pieces together. So that way it doesn't look like it's separating when it's on the card. So I'm going to add, don't move. Add that and try to keep it within those scallops so you don't see the tape showing. I'll do the other side here. All right. Okay. I'm just going to go around and I'm going to do all of these edges here, or all the sides actually, just so that way I know that this is together. It's not going to separate on me. And I think this piece may be too long. Yeah, just a little too long. And I can't tear it. All right, let's try this again. Let's get a smaller piece this time. And then we got one more side to do. Oops. Okay. Then I want to take my Misty Moonlight piece here. Going to add some glue to this. And again, this card too is pretty easy and quick to put together as well. And we'll take this and we'll center this. So basically this is what's in the catalog, this piece here that I'm doing. The only difference is that, well, no, this piece of Misty Moonlight, they actually use the designer series paper in this place. Okay, and then for our bloom that we had stamped and die cut, this was stamped in wild wheat. I'm going to add a little bit of glue to this, and I'm going to center this like so. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my dimensionals. Let's get the glue closed and put out of the way. And so let's add some to the back of this. So I'm going to put one on each of these corners here. Okay, and then let's get two more, just so we don't have it all sagging in the middle. And let's remove these backings. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my card base, and we will center this like so. Make sure that's straight. Whoops. I want to make sure it's straight. I guess I got to lean over it. Need the card base not to move while I'm doing this. Okay. We'll press that down, and then I'll take this banner piece here that I already had stamped and heat embossed. I'm going to add 3 dimensionals to the back of this. And then this will go right over here like so. Make sure that I got it straight. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in these embellishments. So we're going to take our larger one, we'll place this here along with a smaller one right there, and then I'll grab another large one and I'll put that one up here. So there's the second card. Went together very, very quickly. Very little stamping, a lot of paper piecing, but I really like how this came together. I think these colors just really go well together. So wild wheat is one of those colors, when it retires, I'm going to kind of be sad. You know, there's a love-hate. Some people love the color, some people not so much, but I actually like wild wheat. It pairs really well with some of the other jewel tone colored colors, but I really like the Misty, Moonlight, and the Wild Wheat together. So there is our second card. Now let's get what we need for our third card. So our third card, there's a little bit more to it. It's not difficult, not hard, but just a little bit more work that's into this one. Okay. And again, there's some stamping and die cutting that I did ahead of time, but we are going to be doing a little bit of coloring on this one. So just, whoops, and I just dropped all my pieces. Hopefully I got everything here. Hold on one second. I just want to make sure I got everything. Looks like I do. Yes, I do. Okay. Now where were we? Where were we? So my card base, this is Moody Mauve. This is another one of the in colors along with Wild Wheat that will be leaving us at the end of this catalog. So if there is anything that you may want in these colors, say if it's the cardstock, the re-inkers, if you didn't get the re-inkers when you bought the ink pads, definitely get the re-inkers. Any of the markers like the Stampin' Blends, all of these colors did have a set of Stampin' Blends with them. So anything that's in these colors, I would suggest getting it sooner rather than later, because knowing that these colors are going to be going away, um, people will start to buy them and they will sell out very quickly. Now, I will mention now again, this is kind of like already happened, from when I'm filming this not too long ago, but at this point, when you're seeing this, it's a little bit later. So there have been like some changes when it comes to cardstock. So there is an increase in the price of cardstock. We had originally basic white thick cardstock in 8.5 by 11. With the new catalog, Stampin' Up! Was going to do away with the 8.5 by 11 and then only have it available as 12 by 12. Well, it wasn't long after they made that announcement that a lot of demonstrators had reached out and kind of voiced about how they felt about that. So, because it didn't make sense. Now, I'm not a scrapbooker, I'm a card maker. And to take 12 by 12 thick white cardstock and to cut that whole pack down to 8.5 by 11 just would have seemed a little bit insane, especially, the cost of it being a bit more. To me, it just feel like that there would be too much waste with the cardstock. So Stampin' Up! Has decided that they are going to continue on with the basic white thick in 8.5 by 11. Now, the thing is, you will not see it in the new catalog, but you will be able to find it in the online stores. Probably going to be listed under online exclusives, but I did want to put that out there for you. So, speaking on that, and then one other thing too. So basic white, the regular basic white, and the very vanilla cardstocks that are in 8.5 by 11. Um, we've always seen them in packages that have 40 sheets, but now there's only going to be 24 sheets in the pack. Now, at the time that I'm filming this, the basic white has already sold out. So now what's going to happen, it's only going to be available in the smaller packages of 24 count. And unfortunately, even though the count of the cardstock is going to be the same as what the individual packages of the colored cardstock, the price is going to go up on them. So you're getting less but paying more. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I just wanted to let you know, give you kind of like a heads up about that. I have talked about it in my Friday night lives. As a matter of fact, on March 7th, I did go over some of the changes that were happening, like with Stampin' Rewards and the whole thing with the card stock. But since that's happened, I have heard that, they did let us know that they're going to carry on. They're going to continue to make available the 8.5 by 11 thick basic white cardstock. So I am happy about that. Not so crazy though that the price of cardstock has kind of gone up more than I would have liked it to. So I'm just going to put that out there. So back to the card. So basically, what I was really trying to get at, any of these in colors that are going away, if there is something that you would like, whether it's more cardstock or the Stampin' Blends or whatever it may be, don't wait. If you really want it, I would suggest ordering it sooner rather than later, because you just never know when it's gonna sell out. And then there's a possibility that they may not restock it, because now we're getting closer to where the new catalog will be going live. Um, so yeah, a lot of times there's really not a heads up, because like that basic white, it was there. There was really no heads up about it. And then all of a sudden it was gone. So just wanted to make mention of that. So these colors that are retiring, if there's something that you want in those, then be sure to jump on that before it's too late. All right. Card base. This is Moody Mauve. This measures 8.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it at 4.25. And I have another piece of Moody Mauve. This measures 5.25 by 4, and I embossed it with that Dashing Designs 3D embossing folder as well. Out of some scrap basic white, I have stamped 2 of these flower images. I stamped those in early espresso ink, and then I die cut those. Then these baby's breath stamps, I stamped that too in early espresso, die cut those, so there's 3 of those. And then this smaller flower right here, I stamped and die cut 3 of these. Again, these are stamped in early espresso as well. And then the die that we used on our second card, this one right here, so this Misty Moonlight one, that's what I had stamped my greeting in early espresso. I die cut it, and then I trimmed down the top and the bottom edges of that. So it's basically, that's what it would look like. I just cut above some of it off on the top and the bottom. Words seem like they're going to be hard for me in this video, and I apologize in advance. So we have that piece. The other thing I'm going to bring in for this card as well, this is the 2023 to 2025 in color jute trim. So it's all of the in colors that will be going away. This has 3 strands to it, so it is pretty thick. So I'm going to cut a piece, and I'm actually going to separate it so you can see that it's pretty thick. Now, on the sample in the catalog, they actually wrapped this around the card base like 2 times and then tied a bow. To me, I thought it was a little bit bulky, so I am going to cut a piece about this long, and then we're going to separate the strands on this, and then we'll place this on our card. So I'm not really going to be tying a bow on this, because again, it's very bulky. So if you go to mail the card, it's going to have, your envelope's not going to be very flat. So all right, so let's kind of get this card going here. All right, so I'm going to fold and burnish my card base, and then I'll glue that embossed piece on top of it. And this card is going to be landscape, whereas the other 2 were vertical. What do I want? I want my glue. Okay. And we'll add this right here. All right. So we'll set that aside. On our greeting piece, I'll take 2 dimensionals, and I'll put that on, let's see, on either side here. Okay, we'll set that aside. Then I'm going to bring in my scrap paper. We'll close up our glue. I think we're done with this now. Okay, so then with these particular flowers right here, I am going to take my light Misty Moonlight Stampin' Blend, and now I'm just going to do this very loosely. I'm not trying to be perfect with it, so if there's a little bit of white that shows, that's fine. That's kind of the look that I want for this. so. And I'm not going to bring in my dark only because this color, I mean, I want to be able to see the blue, and the dark Misty Moonlight is pretty dark. Okay, and then I want to take my light Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to do these leaves. And again, I'm not going to do them perfect. I'm going to leave a little bit of white showing on these. And you got these little leaves, and then I'm going to get the base of these flowers. So again, I'm not looking for perfect. We're just laying down some color. And of course, because these areas are pretty small, I'm not going to worry about blending, you know, the lighter and the darker on these. Okay, so that's that. And then these baby's breath pieces right here, we're not adding any color to those. So let me bring in these little flowers here. I'm going to add, you know, the light Mossy Meadow on the leaves and on the stem. Okay, and then we got one more. Okay. Then I'm going to take my light wild wheat, and I'm just going to scribble some of this onto these flowers. And again, I'm not looking to be perfect on completely filling it in. But now with this, I will bring in the dark wild wheat, and I'm just going to add a couple little squiggles of this in here, like so. Okay, so let's take this out of the way. And I'm going to get my dimensionals, and I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of all these blooms. Now, I'm not going to worry about the stems because the base of the stems are going to be covered up by our greeting. So let me grab a couple of dimensionals. Oops, I had another one on my finger here. There. And then these just fit on the back of these flowers here. Let's see, I'm going to put another one down on the base here of these. It's a little bit wider on the bottom. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to place these down on my card. So let me get that out of the way. So I'm going to take one of these baby's breath. And let me see where I want to place this. I'm going to place this about here. So I want to take this piece. Now I'm just going to lay these down. I'm not going to press them down quite yet. Let's see, I want to take one of these and place this right back here. And our single flower. And place that right there. Let's see, I'll get another one of our baby's breaths. And we'll pop this kind of like back here. Get another one of our little flowers. Place that there. And let's see, another one of our baby's breath. And kind of place this one right back here. And then this one will go, let's see, everything's shifting around here on me. Okay, and then our last flower, we'll stick that right there. So this is going to go right over the top of all that. So we'll press this all down. Okay, and then the twine, I'm going to take this and I'm going to untwist this, and I'm going to separate these 3 strands. Now when you do this, you are going to get these little jute fibers all over the place. So I suggest you don't have like an open ink pad nearby when you do this, or you'll end up with these fibers in your ink pad. So I'm going to twist it to separate them, because if I just pull them apart, then it could end up breaking. Okay, so there are our 3 pieces, and we'll bring these together. Okay, and then I'm going to take this and I'm going to tie this in a knot. What I should have really done was tied this in a knot first and then just separated the strands on either side. Of course, I didn't think of that first. Okay, so we'll tie that in a knot. And of course, there's all our little fibers. Kind of clean that up a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to take this and I want to place this down kind of like in the middle. So I'm going to take some of my seal and I'm going to add some of that right there. And I'll place that down like so. Now I'm going to separate these a bit because I want to have my my dimensional not stick to this. I want it to actually stick on the cardstock. And I'm not putting one in the middle because there's going to be that knot there. So there's going to be a little bit of bulk in the middle of my banner piece here, and I don't want that. So let me kind of separate these. So just twist it right back up. And then I'll take this and add that right there. I'll press that down. Okay, and then I'm going to get my snips and we're going to trim this down a little bit. Okay, and then we got one more little step. I'm going to bring in these adhesive back texture dots again. Close that up. And then on this one, we'll use one of the larger ones and then 2 of the smaller ones that we'll add. These really are cute embellishments. I like the texture on them. I hope this is one of those embellishments that they'll carry over. They do that at times where there's a lot of things. There were a lot of things that were in the holiday mini catalog that they actually carried over that's now in the online exclusive. So hopefully that's what they'll do with some of the stuff out of this annual catalog. Okay, so let me show you how this card came out. So we got a little bit of all those colors in there. Did a little bit of coloring with our Stampin' Blends. Again, Mossy Meadow, Wild Wheat, and Misty Moonlight. All three of those colors really go well together, and it looks great on the Moody Mauve. All right, so let me bring in the other cards. So our first card that we did was just a very simple, do some random stamping in those colors and then just pop it up on our card base. So I like how that one came out. And then again, this was a sample that was in the catalog. So that catalog, it's not just for ordering product, but it's also a great idea book. This card here is my take on the sample that they had in the catalog. Uh, in the catalog, it looks much smaller, so that tells me they took an embossed piece of this Misty Moonlight and they glued it on top of a note card. And then I die cut this piece here with this scallop twice, once in the wild wheat and then again with the basic white. And then I just attached the two with some scotch tape on the back. And then because I didn't have the designer series paper, I changed it up. I die cut this die using the Misty Moonlight cardstock. And then I stamped this bloom here with the wild wheat, glued that down. And then I like that that early espresso with the greeting that's right on top of it. So that's our second card. And then the third one that we just completed in the Moody Mauve and did a little bit of coloring with our Stampin' Blends. I really love just how this all came out. So very earthy, toned looking cards. Perfect year round in my opinion. So, if you like the projects that I have made for you in this Friday night kind of live, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel, hit the little notification bell, and it'll let you know when I have posted a pre-recorded video or when I go live. Again, I do Throwback Thursdays. That's where I pull out my retired product and I give you a little inspiration with that. Those are pre-records. Those happen every Thursday. I typically have those scheduled and posted to go to be up at 5 a.m. in the morning. And then on Friday nights, I typically go live at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And again, just like this, we create 3 projects. And then at the very end, I do a wheel of names for those that are live with me. And then I do a giveaway of one of the cards that I have made that night. Also, there is, like I said, underneath the list of supplies. Now, when you go for the description, right underneath the title, you may see a couple of dots and then it says more. If you click on the more, it's going to open up that description box. In there, you will see just above the list of supplies, there is a link that will bring you to my Google Drive that has all of my Friday night lives and my Kinda Live PDFs. They're a free download. And again, I have them dated along with just the name of what the suite or the bundle or the stamp set, whatever it is. So then that way you can easily see what's out there. So I have them out there ever since January 26th of 2024. So there's quite a few that are out there. Also, in the description, there is a link for my newsletter. When you click on that, you just add your name and your email address. My newsletters, I send them out typically just once a month, and I'll do it on the first Tuesday of the month. That's when we find out what the new kits are going to be in the kits collection. So Stampin' Up! Comes out with 2 new kits every month. And I like to have like a picture of what it looks like and then a little bit of a description like what's in the kit. Um, what Stampin' Up! May have going on as far as specials go, anything that I may be doing. I also have my whole video schedule for the month. So for the month, I list everything that I'm using for my Throwback Thursdays, what I'm using for my Friday Night Lives. And then, of course, there's info about Paper Pumpkin. And there's also an unboxing, and I put together one of each of the projects. I do a pre-recorded video of that when I get the kit. So the one for the month of March, so we're still in March. I will get that one recorded when I get back. That'll probably be closer to the end of this month when I return. So, keep an eye out for that. And let's see, is there anything else? And again, if you're interested in the new catalog, please send me an email. I do have info about that in the description as well. And yeah, so next Friday, just as a heads up, the 27th of March, for my Friday Night Live, that will be just like this. It'll be a kind of live, it'll be pre-recorded. And for this one, I am going to be using Year of Flowers. It is a newly released bundle that is in our online exclusive, so I'm going to be using that. And with that, everyone, I am so glad that you stopped by and you watched the video. Again, if you like the projects, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you hadn't already subscribed, when you subscribe, hit that notification bell. It'll let you know when I post new videos, whether it's pre-recorded or when I'm going live. So as a pre-recorded kind of live, yeah, an hour and 7 minutes. Not bad. Not bad at all, considering that most of my lives go probably for another hour because there's a lot of communication, in the chat box and all that kind of stuff. And of course, I have more like housekeeping stuff that I typically go over. So with that, everybody, again, thank you for watching and all be safe and everyone have a blessed one. Bye bye.